feel?
Charge up your game with excitement. Highest odds on the market. Coverage of all live and pre-match events. Place your bets with Solid Bookmaker and win with your favorite teams. Take what's rightfully yours with GG.bet.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to our second fixture here on the StarLadder Channel 3. We'll see the English stream of things. We'll be seeing 8Easy go up against wNv. 8Easy just taking the knife round here on map number 1. We'll give them the freedom of choice. They can start on the CT side of things, should that be their course of action. Things will get a little bit confusing moving forward. We've got a few players that don't have their names quite as they're supposed to be. So I'll try to make a little bit of sense of that for you now, if possible. We've got Vitrushka CS, who is Vadim. We've got Xpro, who is Xper in-game. Mitsuha is exactly as you should be. Koshak as well. Which just leaves the one player in equal as Pure, whereas Kasim Babe. On WNV side, you've got Kamita, Very Ray, QQ, who is KMZ, Pure, and Zwin. Have to see how this all plays out. WNV losing the initial duel over towards middle. Kamita making his way up through towards connector, trying to flank out that player in jungle, but Mitsuha, as he's rotated away, is taking down Fairy Ray. The bomb is recovered, and this can actually get planted for WNV as Zwin still holds the cross. He's making sure he does a lot of damage as they commit towards the site, but the trades are there. They all swing together and take those fights in pairs, and 8Easy are able to take the pistol. We were a little bit delayed getting into things. We need to get all the servers set up. Make sure that the players were comfortable. Of course. This is a matchup that does tend to lean itself over towards the 8Easy side. I mean, you can see it kind of reflected in the betting odds as they do show up. Actually, it's in favor of wNv. Surprisingly enough to me, considering that 8Easy have a bit more history behind some of these players coming away from eHome. You've got as well a bit of Russian talent in there as well. More of a hybridized lineup as a result of that. In spite of all that, Vadim's able to get 4 kills on the eco round from wNv. Makes pretty short work of them. So far, off to a flawless start. 5 kills, 0 deaths. And now this is where the true contest comes into. The previous Mirage game we saw, it was very heavily leaning towards this default heavy mid control, quite often trying to go for a burst play out towards A. That was, of course, in our previous fixture. In BTR and Very 1Z. The same part of the bracket, the other side of it, is this game. 8Easy off to a relatively good start. wNv, though, they try to creep themselves up connector. Zwin's been taken down. Suddenly, they have not a whole lot of utility to make a site hit work because they don't have any smokes left. It's just the Molotov and a trio of flashbangs that they can maybe utilize into the latter stages of this round. And although they've been able to get Kamita into a position in which he can potentially siphon off those rotations from that A site, 8Easy will still have a man advantage to work off of. Low progress being made by wNv. They seem to be heading towards the B site. The bomb positioning towards that ladder position. Ray was the one that means to take first contact, try and draw the attention away from short, as well as presence being made over towards A. 8 Easy shouldn't have a hard read as to what's going on. There's a player over towards the A side of things, towards B, and wNv are actually going towards the former. Bam's able to deal with both players and towards the connector, and that's it. The bomb's dropped, and the last player remaining is the one that was running distraction over in the apartments. Ray's just going to hold on to his AK for the next round. Hello, Welsio1. You'll have to forgive me if I'm a bit delayed in my responses. There is a delay between both yourself and I. Try my best. Keep up with what's going on. If you have any questions, any input on the game in that regard, I'd be more than welcome to it. 8 Easy. Deep smoking towards the B apartments. There won't be anybody there on wNv, so that information's not to be had just yet. Wonderful shot to start things off for 8 Easy. Top mid control was garnered early on. Nade does quite a lot of damage as well. Was the force buy from wNv to try and topple things back over in their direction, try and get themselves on the board. Ferrari, as he jumped up on the stairs, was fully flashed. Pure has gone down and pushing further out. It's going to be the quadra kill for Kasim. Or equal, I should be saying. As he's named himself something a little bit unorthodox. I'm not going to pretend that I keep my eyes crazily peeled to the Asian scene. People seem to be making fun of Mitsuha. Lovely shot to start off this round by ZQK. ZQK, KMZ. I'm still... my brain's still in the previous best of 3. Either way, the advantage will be had by wNv. Now they're still poke and prod for information in middle. Wanted to make sure if there is any bit of a faster play as a result of that pick that they have the information to work off of. Mitsuha gets the first, the secondary as well. Zewin tried to track him down, but it's unsuccessful in trading things out. As Vadim pushing top middle. It's left clutching at straws. Even dealt with at the end by equal. Well, I'd seen the odds, how people were predicting things to go on HLTV. People couldn't really tell if it was just a joke. I mean, Suha's off to a decent start. Obviously not leading the charge by any means for 8 Easy, but they've... I mean, not really a pun, but I apologize for walking into this one. It's been relatively easy for them so far. Equal and Vadim still have yet to die on this CT side. They've got a ridiculous amount of money accrued. And wNv haven't really been all too close. This information for 8 Easy to work off of. They can as well push that player further forward. Xpro as well contribute a kill on towards KMZ. Roshak's take it down Zewin. Now could have been a potential way into the round here for wNv. If he's somehow been able to navigate in towards jungle, he could have potentially flanked out B. They have likely relocated their focus towards that B bomb site as a result, but as he goes down, instead it will be, looks to be an A side split. Equal getting killed with Ferry, and with Koshak getting that follow-up frag, it's likely falling apart from there. Kamita, he was into a 1 versus 5, he gets the 1 kill, but is instantly traded. He puts an end to Vadim's deathless streak. For now, though, Equal is still up there. 9-0. He's having a wonderful time. You can see how few deaths there are on the CT side, and just the reasons why the money is getting a little bit out of control. I mean, it is by and large out of control. This is enough to sustain 2 or 3 rounds in a row for the CT side to fully reinvest. Depending on how frequently they want to buy up that AWP would certainly be a factor as well in managing their money, but wNv are going to go for the tried and true. It's the wall of smokes over towards A, and they actually make sure that if it is going to be a counterplay from 8easy, that there's at least more smoke coverage behind it. Vadim's prepared though, pushing through the smoke. KMZ gets taken down, and a secondary flash in towards CT. They need control of this if they want to hold it in the post plan, and Kamita hits both kills. This could potentially be wNv with their first round registered, but Mitsuha and Equal still stand in their path, and they've both not died as of yet. That will remain to be true so far in the retake. Fairy Ray and Zwin still pushing further out, still just waiting for these fights, and it's just into Zwin's hands. 1 versus 3. He gets smoked out, but he's found 2 kills. Mitsuha needs to get on the bomb, and Zwin, he'll spray frantically, but he gets all 3. wNv finally get 1 to their name, and it's all off the back of Zwin in the clutch. It's a great first round to be had, but one that is very costly for wNv, and you have to sort of touch on how repeatable that kind of a performance is, whether they're going to have to rely on these 1vx situations to go into their favor for them to accrue too many rounds on this T side. I was looking forward to getting to an 8-0 scoreline in which I could comment that it is the reason why they're called 8easy. But alas, that will be a miss for now. And Suha won't miss on his opportunity, however. Pure taken down, Kasim chiming right back, and Suha's found 2. The third potentially lined up. There's the flick onto Zwin, and as soon as they win a round, it's instantly stripped in the very next one. Equal gets 2 on the AUG, and it's the AWP that really shines through. The double up setup, of course, was brought into that by 8easy, given how much cash they had in hand. wNv will just be fortunate that they have that loss bonus still to sit back on. Couple of kills still going the way of 8easy. The half buy was brought through by wNv, so not too much damage done. Another round in which there's quite a lot of cash still saved up, and as a result of not sustaining any casualties, that will continue to be true. I'm wondering at what point do wNv call a timeout? Surely it has to be soon. There's a lot that's kind of falling away from them. They're not really getting that close to the bomb sites, by and large. And with 8easy up to 8, 7-round discrepancy, wNv are moving instead towards a B-side play. Mitsuha is here with the AWP. Vadim as well on the rotation. He gets the first one across the secondary as well. That's one AWP eliminated at the very least for wNv, but they're taking so much damage as they make it onto the site. Pure down to 29, 23 as well on Zwin. That smoke is the only coverage they'll have so far on the bomb site. Limited utility to make use of moving forward, and creeping up, it's equal. He's right behind enemy lines. Zwin spots him. He takes him down. That was a crucial kill to be had because it gives so much more space for KMZ to strike. Zwin finding a secondary. X-Pro comes right back with 2, and although he lands the headshot through the edge of the wall, it's answered back in kind. Very effective trading and some very crucial shots being hit by wNv. Another round will be registered. Sorry to have touched on this so late. What are my thoughts on the Na'Vi roster change? I think Boomich is a really good addition. I think you can kind of key point, although Edward was such a crucial figure for them as far as keeping their mental game in check. I think Boomich will provide a bit more on the firepower department, as Edward has seemingly fallen off from his previous self. First opportunities to do that moving forward is sometimes just need to light a bit of fire underneath yourself just to bring out the best performances. This is looking extremely difficult for wNv. They'd seen success over on that B bomb side, but this time Mitsuha's not going to miss the first opportunity. He gets one, the Molotov does the rest. Fairy Ray take it down. Kamita gets tagged by the AWP as well as the flames, but this flank is just far too late. Pierre's only going to be able to get one. Suddenly the information is relayed to the remaining CTs, and they can group themselves up. Adam posted with the AWP, and Pierre has absolutely no idea where he's positioned. He could have been on the bomb site, but instead played it more passive, waited for his teammate to come. He'll hit the shot himself. So far, Fairy Ray is still at 0 frags. It's been a struggle for Fairy Ray. See whether that has to be the wrong way around. Oh, here, opening kill. X-Pro gets one in return over towards middle. That smoke towards window is gonna certainly favor him in that regard. Adam hits the first, and he'd lined himself up for a secondary. It's not gonna be the case today. Made easier, making short work of all of these players. Fairy Ray gets his first kill on the field. 3 more to find, however, and made easy, make short work of him. Double digits registered. It's been relatively quick, all things considered. 12 rounds elapsed at what seems like it's been less than 15 minutes. A lot of these being fairly early executes or aggressive CT plays that have pulled the rounds through in such a rapid manner. But now finally a pulse will come through. Already an 8-round lead for 8 Easy. I'm still very curious about those odds. It said total maps, so I think people are of the mindset that maybe wNv don't get too many. Whereas if you bet on 0 maps, that's something to think about. That could potentially be the case. I am very much worried for how things will shape up. This first game can really set the tone. Quite often in best of 3s, especially when you've got limited information to work off of your opponent, these first few games are instrumental in how confident you play things out, and Mitsuha is absolutely brimming with it. Kamita, although he's able to eliminate him with the grenade, there's still a second AWP on the field, and Vadim's still been hitting shot after shot respectively. A secondary found, and 8 Easy are just so confident in all of these duels, and you can see exactly why. You look at the kill disparity between these two teams. The lowest for 8 Easy is 9. Dewin's got the combination of both Pure and KMZ's frags. More than Kamita and Fairy Ray. So this is looking to at least be a one-sided half. wNv saw limited success over at that B-bomb side. This time Mitsuha will miss, and that may be difference maker. The grenade is fantastic from X-Pro. He's going to be able to line them up as they attempt the cross. The AWP is recovered by Zewin, however, and he chimes right back with 2. Suddenly, they'll have the man advantage to work off of. There's still an AWP in their path, but they at least have their own to work with. Utility recovered as well, and I think he just missed the timing. Here, I don't know if you'll have that information that there was one located or likely to rotate off of short. Seemed like either player spotted one another, but the last wNv will have one more body to throw at this in the retake. With Vadim taken down, Zewin is looking to have a round of his own. He's gotten 3 so far with that recovered AWP, and Kasim's going to run and hide, save the org into the next round, because wNv, they've pulled it off. It's been just the pistols and armor brought in by that T side, but they still overpower and take that B bomb site. Boy, I don't mean to disappoint you, but you said 16-2. It's already 3 rounds for wNv, so that is unfortunate. Maybe that changes the tone here for wNv. Maybe they're more confident in how they want to approach these. A lot of that was catalyzed by Mitsuha missing the opening duel. It would have granted him a bit more space to potentially retreat with that AWP, and it wouldn't be a factor later on into the round. But it's are going to continue to take these fights. Mito still capitalizing on this Cowshack and X-Pro. 2 kills in towards middle. They thought they'd been able to line up the trade, but he still survives on 4 HP. Now they'll commit towards the B-bomb site. Mitsuha gets 2, but Pure able to space himself effectively. These opponents are certainly weakened up for 8 Easy. Shot hit by Vadim, but now the 1 versus 2 will ensue. Pure and Zewin, and they hear how far is progressing up. Zewin in a bit of an off angle. Kasim gets caught off, and wNv at the very minimum recovered themselves to 4 rounds before the half swap. Very strong stuff from Vadim. And for most of the half, it was equal as well, or Kasim Babe. Not quite sure whether it's equal, but just working off the information I have. Mitsuha only really finding form towards the latter stages of that first half, as they went towards the B site more frequently. Now they'll have to pull things off on their T side as well. AMZ. There's the opportunity there. Will reposition, eventually gets tracked down. The bomb should be planted now for the ADC side, but do they realize that their backside is completely exposed? There's 2 players on the flank, and they're just waiting for the right moment to strike. Koshak taking down Zewin will accelerate the flank here from wNv. Fairy Ray cannot get it done. Pure getting shot after shot. He's firing off so much, and eventually they figure out exactly where those bullets are coming from. It was pretty tall order for him to get all 5 from that sort of type of a position. 8 easy, take the second pistol as well. And if you're looking for the wNv comeback, that was the first piece of the puzzle. The second one is a corner piece, though. If they can get that, at least on the board, it makes things a little bit easier moving forward. The first gun round will likely mean that the rounds will play out a little bit easier for themselves. They've gone for the full save in this regard, so they'll have limited utility to bring forward. Fairy Ray could potentially buy up the AWP. I'd be concerned if that were the case, considering Zwin usually wields that weapon as far as I'm aware. You just see rifles for every single CT, no head armor. And you do sometimes touch upon how the lack of head armor could be a difference maker. The SMGs, I mean, there's still one for 8 easy and Mitsuha. But with it only being the singular player, it doesn't really factor in too heavily. The AKs are what they need to be most concerned about. They need to win these opening duels. And with Fairy Ray getting the first, they will suddenly retreat around cover. And Vladimir, he's pushing towards the smokes. He's found a gap to play with, and he gets 2. Things were looking good to start things off. The whiff smoke in towards CT, but it works in Vadim's favor. He still finds the frag, and it's equalized as they push on further. Kamita, last man standing. And Vadim, he's low. Around triple boxes, that's very spammable. Kamita gets both. He needed to pull up big for wNv. It's been 3 clutches, really. For this wNv side, they have relied heavily on individuals to step up in the moment, and even with those rounds registered, they just cannot get close to the lead that 8 easy have accrued. They are getting closer, but it's not quite enough just yet to have us convinced that the comeback is possible. wNv, though, they're going to try and get aggressive, and Vadim gets both of the kills. They went up with a series of utility. The buy was fairly equal given how close the previous round was. But now the defenses are stretched very thin. Opportunity here for Fairy Ray. Has him unsuspecting of that balcony position. He's actually going to push off the back. Oh, no, that is so unfortunate for Pure. X-Pro just waited for that smoke to fade just to clear out that corner before progressing in towards jungle. Very minimum, though. Fairy Ray is on a long flank. The issue may be that it might not turn up on time. Putting himself in a position in which they do commit towards A, he will be in an instrumental spot. X-Pro is weakened, Vadim as well, but the B-bomb site has been taken by Mitsuha all the meanwhile. Oh, Koshak's going to be able to flank him out if he just turns around the corner. Fairy Ray's going to catch out the bomb. This is very dangerous because if this bomb goes down, suddenly they might not be able to recover it. All Zwin needs to do is hide in this situation. He's fired off the bullet. They could potentially track him down, but he's going to take cover in market. They win the round off time alone, and it's the positioning of Fairy Ray that enables that. Some slim timings needed for that round to play out in that exact manner. The wNv will take every single opportunity they can get. push in towards ramp. That's a couple of kills for the CTs that go traded. Even though potentially catch them out. There's the first. It's a headshot towards X-Pro. It's actually tracked down by Kasim, but suddenly, because all this action has happened in the early stages, he doesn't know whether a fast flank is possible for the CTs. He hasn't recovered the bomb just yet, so they need to pick that up before repositioning. Just gonna leave it on the floor for now. This limits his opportunities moving forward. If he doesn't find a kill to work off of, he's going to have to traverse back through ramp and give up any bit of map control and clearance that he'd done in the previous 30 seconds. He is playing extremely passive as a result of not knowing where he could be positioning himself. See how much time is being run off the clock as a result of repositioning without that bomb on his back. Pass him now. Moving forward, trying to bait out that player. CT Kamita will bite, but he'll hit the shot. Bullets straight to the face of Kasim. 8 Easy have been halted at 13. They're now 3 rounds in a row. Win. Oh, that's going to be a meaty nade up top middle. He's spamming through the smoke as well. It does so much damage. And as they all converge in mid to hunt down the eco frags, it's an easy sweep up for wNv. Mirror image of some of the rounds that occurred for 8 Easy's CT side, respectively. This has certainly been a tighter affair, though, in the second half. 8 Easy seemingly trading a bit better than wNv were able to do on their respective T side, but it seem like Fairy Ray and co are as ill prepared on the CT's portion of the map. Kamita, 2 frags, Z1 as well, traveling through with 1. Local actors coverage. Mitsuha flashed off the angle, has to recommit, but he hits the shot. Bit of a telegraph play there from Kamita. Reads right into it. 8 Easy equalized the affair. And suddenly they've got a decent amount of map control to play off of. There's no information for either side in towards middle, but that actually works in the favor of the T's because these players will have to limit their risks. They don't want to get split by what could potentially be a 2-pronged assault, and so they'll have to play very, very passive angles off the back of it. Very first point of contact as they move on forward. Mitsuha's been dropped. Kasim is low. Potentially bring things back. Gets him before the flash blooms, but there's the rotation. KMZ's already there, and wNv are getting closer and closer. They're just 1 shy of establishing double digits. Aggression from the CT side. It's a half buy. From X-Pro or X-Pro. On the side. One exchanging towards the apartments. X-Pro will do his best to not get cooked. Doesn't want to end up on the stove is what sits behind him. Been able to get themselves in through connector as well as deal with the player located underneath the balcony. Fairy Ray goes unchecked initially, but they spot him out. They take the A-bomb site, and with that heavy presence towards B, that early kill going their direction, wNv were distracted. Unsure whether these players could have been early committing, rushing towards that site. Now they will get the plant on through. Kamita doing his best to try and flush that player out of position. He jumps up high, but Kasim's there to trade. Z-Win with the open hand. Money's not great for wNv, so he wants to go for this. He has to commit further forward, and Kasim will eliminate him. The op will be retrieved as well. And 8 Easy do what wNv did to them. It's a half buy that's successful for the T side that potentially changes the pace and the momentum moving forward. wNv were riding a high as we entered the second half off the gun rounds. That may just have soiled it. They don't have the money to answer back with a buy of their own. It's just pistols and predominantly USPs. Very tight angle by Vadim. This should be a 15th for 8 Easy. Singular killing towards CT. That's a weapon that they could potentially recover. They're somewhat hesitant to peek right into Pier. The nade does decent damage. They essentially boost up over the side of the smoke. Should they be so daring, but they don't even need that. Kamita's gone unchecked, and Expro's in a very one-and-done exposed position. They've brought this to equal numbers, but they don't have quite the weaponry to contest. Kamita even committing through the smoke. And 8 Easy get themselves to 15. It needs to be 6 in a row to get overtime on the first map, but it's not seeming likely. They've had some pretty good holds on the CT side. And I think the pistol round, or the half-buy round from 8 Easy, may just have done it. Expro's got a sword off, of all things. I'm gonna keep my eyes on him as I hope by some unexplained miracle he's able to contribute with this weapon in particular. Very strange position to be holding. Oh, yep. He's even fired it off for fun. That wouldn't have been lethal in any respects. These players don't have head armor on wNv. This is a similar kind of situation with the SMGs in which the sword off, if it's able to make contact with the head, it just does so much damage when there's no armor in play. Mitsuha gets one towards the B side of things. Kamita's able to get a bit of space as well off the back of it. A couple of kills go their direction, and suddenly it's a 3-on-3. Mark Koshak able to get a second frag. Z-Win and Ferrari on these rotations. It's a smoke that allows them a bit of coverage, a bit of room to breathe, but it will be the round one in the end by 8 Easy. It's the ult that comes into play in the double kill. Nonetheless, what a performance. 28 kills, 11 deaths on the side of Vadim, as he's known on server as Vitrushka CS. That was a very one-sided first map, although there was starting to become a theme in the second half in which wNv were able to string quite a few rounds together and start to build up a bit of momentum. They're having some fairly clean ones as well. I mean, although it did come down sometimes to a few individuals stepping up to the plate, you could see there's 3 1v1s. One in that respects. Some of them were more lopsided than they had seemed just by how well 8 Easy were performing and how well they had done in those clutch situations. But we will prepare ourselves for the second map. Don't go anywhere. Got more action still yet to come.
Charge up your game with excitement. Highest odds on the market. Coverage of all live and pre-match events. Place your bets with Solid Bookmaker and win with your favorite teams. Take what's rightfully yours with GG.bet.